Much of the following information has been collected by the Grems-Doolittle Library and Archives at the Schenectady County Historical Society. Before General Electric and the American Locomotive Company, Schenectady was known for farming broom corn and manufacturing brooms. In fact, Schenectady County was the largest grower of broom corn and one of the largest producers of brooms in New York State in the 1800s. The majority of people working on broom corn farms in the 1800s and mid-1800s were German immigrants. The Whitmyer family immigrated to Schenectady from Germany in the mid-1800s and proceeded to find work in broom corn fields and factories. Three brothers, Charles, Christian, and William, all worked in Otis Smith's broom factory on the corner of Washington Ave and Cucumber Alley in Schenectady. Their wives also worked for the industry. According to Isaac Whitmyer, Christian Whitmyer's son, Otis Smith employed about 120 men and women. In the 1860s, the Whitmyers bought Otis Smith's factory and started C. Whitmyer and Company. The Whitmyer brooms were considered some of the best in the United States and won first place at the Chicago World's Fair in 1892 for their exhibit. By the late 1800s, many broom factories had gone out of business, and by 1902, the Whitmyer Company had gone out of business as well. However, Henry Whitmyer continued to make Whitmyer brooms, and it stayed in the family until Henry's grandson Harvey died in 1947. After Harvey's death, the Whitmyer Broom Company was bought by George Cranick, who kept the broom-making tradition alive and ran the factory as a one-man operation until the mid-1960s.
Hi, my name is Rick Siciliano, and I'm from Glenville, New York. Now, I received this this broom when I was living on Albany Street, and my commercial photography studio was on 809 Albany Street. I basically was asked to lend some lighting to the project that the Grems-Doolittle Library was doing on the location on North Street, 15 North Street. And if you can see, there is a batch of brooms laying on the floor here, which I believe was the batch that I just took this broom out of, because I thought it was cool. They were talking about it while they were doing the shoot. And I said, gee, that'd be interesting, historically, thinking in my head. Can I have one of those? And they said, sure, go ahead, take it. You know, because I wasn't charging them for the lights. You know, I was just giving it to them. This is probably late or late 70s, early 80s.
So you've had this broom in your possession since then?
Yes. It's been down in my basement, and when I went, I use the Scotia Library a lot, and they were showing me the new edition, and I saw that they had historical stuff, and I said, gee, I bet this would be an interesting thing, you know, and still not knowing the whole, you know, historical background of the broom corn industry, you know, here in Schenectady. But it's interesting, I found a lot of things out, especially like even in the city seal, all right, has a guy taking corn, you know, and grouping it up. Now, as it says, most people think that it is just corn, but it's got nothing to do with corn. It's got to do with the corn, the broom corn, all right, and the broom industry here in Schenectady, which I guess lasted through the early 1900s, all right. Actually, the last owner, who was George Cranick, ran the business until the mid-1960s. And This is a picture of George and, like I said, the pile of brooms I got this out of, all right? And it was interesting because the Whitmyer family owned it. They came from Germany, all right, in the mid 1800s, and started making brooms. I guess they brothers Charles and Christian and William bought the Otis Smith's Broom Factory, which was on the corner of Washington and Cucumber Alley, which this is a picture of, all right? However, it burnt down just around, I guess, the turn of the century. And they bought the facilities on North Street. And it was there until they did actually the video on it, all right? And I guess the facilities was bought, and after they did the video on it, they, which George, again, Cranick owned and was still making brooms. After they did the video, it was torn down. The facilities was torn down, and now it's a condo, I guess, back there. So, and also you've got this, which is the label that you see on the broom itself. 1898, they went to the Chicago World's Fair and won first prize for their broom. Pretty interesting. Now, I've had, again, the broom since the early 80s, and yes, it has still never been utilized. So, and like I said, I saw some historic things over at the New Scotia edition, and I thought this would be interesting, since I don't think I can put it on eBay and get a lot of money for it. I'd rather have it historically be with the county and the city. And what else I found interesting, the company actually hired more women to do their work than males. The males were used in the summer to harvest and things like that and grow. And the females, all right, employees of the business, worked through the winter actually assembling and making the brooms.
If you were to look at the Schenectady County flag, you would see many symbols that represent industries that helped build Schenectady. The DeWitt Clinton and the Schenectady boat symbolize the railroad and canals that made Schenectady into a shipping hub. The lightning bolt and atom represent General Electric and American Locomotive, two of Schenectady's most prominent industries. The last symbol on the flag has been confused with a sheaf of wheat, but is actually broom corn.